nice, thank you. Well, my name is Ed Hawks, and I'd like to welcome you to the 11th edition of Listen Up, Illinois. And today I'm happy to have as my guest the Klezmer group, Don't Ask. I heard them play at the Urbana Free Library a couple of weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, and they had a packed house, and the crowd was mesmerized by their music. I don't think anybody left for the 2 hours that they played, so it was a wonderful concert, and they agreed to come here and play for UPTV and my show, and I'm very happy about that. So can I ask, Don't Ask, how you came up with the name Don't Ask?
Well, Don't Ask, I think, reflects a certain Yiddish cultural sensibility where you don't want to brag, you don't want to sound too positive. So somebody asks you, oh, so, Shirley, how are you? And you say, oi, don't ask. Okay. But then, of course, you proceed to tell them. So it captures a whole, there's a lot of culture in that those 2 words.
Okay, well, good, yeah. I was kind of thinking maybe that was it, but. Well, you want to go ahead and get into another tune?
Sure, sure. Most of these tunes come from early European, Eastern European Klezmer tradition, kind of before Klezmer music hit the States. So it's the more string band sound. We'll play another one that's called Dem Trisker Rebbens Hussed. It's a traditional Hussedel, which is a slow dance tune. And that would be in.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Well, just before you went into that, you were talking a little bit about the origins of Klezmer music. So what makes Klezmer Klezmer?
the Jewish accent. Well, there are some musical structural things, but it's a folk music that grew up from about the 17th century onward. It's, by definition, if you're going to talk about definitions, it's instrumental. Yiddish song is a slightly different tradition that interwove into it later on. It's also secular. It's not part of the liturgy or the service, but it was played for events, simchas, happy times. And it was played in little villages all over Eastern Europe. And it wasn't strictly speaking Jewish, even though that's what I said. The people who were in these itinerant bands were primarily Jewish, but in all these parts of Europe, it was called the Pale of Settlement. So roughly east of Germany and west of Russia, which covers a lot of territory. So those bands that were near to, say, Hungary or Romania or the Ukraine would have other musicians in their bands, and they would go from village to village and play for each other's events, and they all knew each other's tunes. So when you listen to different klezmer, that it depends on the origin, depends on what part of Europe it came from, you'll hear those inflections. And then all that came to the United States and then picked up American inflections like jazz, brought in the Broadway sound, and more singing, more theater type traditions. So klezmer is like any folk music. It picked up a little bit from wherever it was.
Wherever it's been, it's just
right,
it's
wherever it's
true melting pot.
Right,
music
true
that
melting
is.
pot music, I think. Yeah.
So, and it's kind of regional then.
Yeah, very regional. So somebody could, somebody who really studies it could listen to a tune and maybe be able to figure out exactly where it's from.
Even though they've been, even the regional tunes have been changed by the moving around.
I think so.
I mean, are there still some that are really just played in the regional style, or have they all been changed?
I'm probably not expert enough to really be able to answer that, but I've heard, for example, lately, there's a pretty strong Hungarian tradition that sounds very Hungarian. And the whole fiddle style is pretty different. So that it's almost not so much that the tune is different, it's the style of playing it that's different.